public. This is Henry Jones, President of the Board of CalPERS. I'm calling the CalPERS Board of Administration meeting for March 18, 2020 to order. Thank you for joining the call. I appreciate your patience and cooperation during these challenging times. I'm going to ask Pam Hopper to call the roll. If you are a delegate calling in place of a board member, please identify yourself when we call the roll. Roll call, Ms. Hopper?
Henry Jones.
Here.
Margaret Brown.
Here.
Rob Fechner.
Good morning.
Fiona Ma.
Frank Ruffino for Fiona Ma.
Lisa Middleton. Lisa Middleton.
Lisa Middleton, present.
David Miller.
Present.
Stacy Oliveris.
Here.
Michelle Mitchell for Irena Ortega.
Here.
Jason Perez.
Good morning, here.
Ramon Rubalcaba.
Here.
Teresa Taylor.
Here.
Shonda Wesley.
Present.
Lynn Paquin for Betty Yee.
Here.
Okay, thank you. I also want to let the board know that joining us on the call is our CEO, Marcie Frost, CIO, Meng, and the board's outside counsel, Sherrod Shah. In addition, our general counsel, Matt Jacobs, is present in the CalPERS auditorium. We're going to skip items 2 through 4 on the agenda and move to agenda item 5. Before I turn the call over to Marcie Frost for her Chief Executive Officer's report, I would like to make a few remarks. The decision we made to postpone committee and board meetings this week was not made lightly. The safety of our members, employees, and the public has to be our first consideration. Our CEO has been in daily contact with the board leadership, which includes the president, the vice president, and the investment committee chair. I want to take a moment to thank the CalPERS executive team on the effectiveness of their leadership during these difficult times. I also want to recognize the entire CalPERS organization on their commitment to serving our members and employers. As a reminder, agenda items that were scheduled for this month have been postponed until our April meeting. As this situation remains quite fluid, we commit to keeping you updated through a variety of other channels, including our website, the stakeholder email list, and direct communication to our members and employers. Now I'll turn it over to our CEO to give you more specific updates on CalPERS' response to business continuity. Marcie, please.
Good morning, President Jones and board members. I'll begin this morning by addressing how we have been dealing with the issues surrounding COVID-19. Our top priority has been the safety of our members, our team members, and the public who visit our offices. We are doing this while also maintaining the essential functions of paying benefits, administering our healthcare program, and managing our investment portfolio. Now, obviously, the impact of COVID-19 has forced us to change the way we do business and the way we interact with our members, our employers, our team members, and our stakeholders. So let me outline a few steps that we have been taking. From the outset, we did form a work group that meets daily, if not more often, to review the latest developments and guidance that's coming from CalHR, who has been a great partner throughout this whole event, the California Department of Public Health, the State Government Operations Agency, as well as local health officials. This group includes members of our executive team and representatives from our human resources, operations, services, and support, and public affairs. It also includes our Chief Medical Director, Dr. Julia Logan, who has been our source of outreach to the latest developments and has been advising us along the way. Currently, our headquarters is open today, but on Monday, we did close our headquarters, the Sacramento Regional Office and daycare, to clean and disinfect the entire campus after one of our employees showed symptoms of the virus. The good news for the employee and us is that the individual was tested and was negative for the virus. Yesterday afternoon, we made the decision to close our 8 regional offices to all in-person appointments, at least through the end of March, and we will reevaluate at that time. We've contacted members who already had appointments scheduled, and we plan to conduct those appointments by phone instead. We've also postponed in-person training and educational classes for employers and members, and those are typically scheduled in our regional offices, and where possible, we'll reschedule them as conference calls and video conferencing online. And then finally, we postponed our CalPERS benefits education event that was scheduled for April 17th and 18th in the City of Industry. We are looking to reschedule it for a date later this year, and we're working with the hotel closely to make that happen. Now, these changes have been communicated through all our communication channels, including regular updates on our website and through social media. It is important to note, however, that members and employers needing services during this time can do business with us by accessing their MyCalPERS account or by calling our customer contact center, which is open. A little bit on the health side. Of course, COVID-19 is first and foremost a significant and serious health matter. And from the start, we have worked closely with CalPERS health plans to ensure our members have access to the care they need. We've asked all the plans to update their websites regularly with information about testing and treatment for COVID-19, and they have done so. And we worked with the plans so that no one enrolled in the CalPERS health program will have to pay any out-of-pocket costs for screening and testing of COVID-19 should they need it. We also have been coordinating with our pharmacy benefit manager, OptumRx, to make sure that members have access to the medications they need. We do not anticipate any interruptions to prescription medications, but we are working very closely with Optum to make sure medications are received in a timely manner. As our day-to-day business continues, maintaining service to our members and employers while protecting our own employees is essential. Under guidance from CalHR and state and local health officials, we have greatly increased the number of team members who can telework if their work allows them to do so, and after working with their managers. We've also increased the number of laptops and other devices issued to allow greater access to teleworking. For team members who continue to work in our facilities, we have implemented very deep social distancing policies, maintaining a distance of 6 feet between each other in work areas, and speaking one-on-one or in meetings. And we really have asked everyone in the organization to curb meetings and to take care of business via conference call or one-on-one. And then our investment office began preparing weeks ago. Working with IT, nearly all of our investment functions are being managed remotely or through our emergency operations center. And our investment office is conducting their business every day. And you'll get an opportunity to hear from Ben on the market and the portfolio in just a moment. Here on our CalPERS campus, we continue to take several important steps. We've increased our cleaning measures and our cleaning high-touch services throughout the workday. And our cafe has also adjusted its menu, eliminating self-serve items and offering grab-to-go meals. And then one special note before I close out, I want to tell you that we feel very fortunate to have welcomed Michelle Tucker to our team as the new Chief of Human Resources. Michelle started with us on March 2nd, and from the time she walked in the door, even before she had a chance to find her office, she's been dealing with numerous HR issues each day involving our response to COVID-19. So Michelle has handled this with great expertise and skill, and we're very pleased that she is with us during this time and beyond. Many of you may have recognized Michelle Tucker's name. She was the recipient last year of the Spotlight on Excellence award that we had given at our Employer Education Forum. So I'm going to close now by asking Ben to discuss our investments and the recent volatility in the markets, and then we'll both be happy to take some questions at the end. Ben?
Thank you, Marcie. Good morning, President Jones and board members. I want to address the financial market volatility over the past few weeks and its impact on the CalPERS fund. And I also want to explain the steps we have taken to mitigate the risk to our global portfolio. Let me begin by saying that the CalPERS board, management, and the investment office have been planning and preparing for a market downturn like this one. In my first presentation to the board in January 2019, I said that one of CalPERS' greatest strengths was our ability to ride out short-term market volatility and concentrate instead on our long-term investment horizon. And never has that been more important than right now. We invest for years and decades. Of course, we have been paying very careful attention to how the financial markets have been responding to coronavirus, known as COVID-19. But we are long-term investors, and we keep our focus on achieving the best risk-adjusted returns from our diversified portfolio over many years. Last June, I gave a presentation to the investment committee on this very issue, and the title was Mitigating Drawdowns. In that presentation, I described how an economic downturn can affect our portfolio and some of the steps CalPERS has taken to lessen the overall impact. Now let me discuss 3 examples. First, we have significantly improved our liquidity management. Our liquidity position today is healthy. Our liquidity improved as a result of lowering the discount rate from 7.5% to 7% and shortening the amortization period to 20 years. Second, we have also taken a number of steps within our investment strategy and operations framework. For example, we have centralized the governance structure in our investment office. Now we look at the CalPERS fund from a total fund perspective, not through the silo of individual asset classes. This centralized governance structure and one fund, one team culture provide us with much greater insight into how our investments are performing and the risks we are taking. Lastly but not least, we have also recently made 2 key investment decisions. First, during the asset liability management process in 2017, the board approved an allocation to long-duration treasuries. These have performed as we anticipated and provided us with diversification benefits during this market decline. And also, as we discussed last August during our total fund review, we have implemented a factor-weighted portfolio that also has helped mitigate the impact of the severe decline in cap-weighted public equity valuations. These investment strategies help us mitigate the impact of a market drawdown on our global diversified portfolio. But we are not immune to economic crisis, and we will experience similar volatilities as the broader market, especially in the short term. Our improved liquidity, total fund approach, and the investment decisions have put us in a much better position than the global financial crisis. Now we are also able to take advantage of appropriate and prudent investment opportunities that may arise during this time of extreme market volatility. Before I close the remarks this morning, there's one important point I need to notify the board. Because of the fluctuations in the market over the past few weeks, our portfolio weights are deviating away from our strategic asset allocation targets. If market volatility remains elevated, we may hit the outer range of these targets. Under our policy, management is required to officially notify the board when that happens. We are monitoring the situation very closely and have a plan in place to address it, and we'll keep you informed. Finally, I want to emphasize that we don't have a crystal ball to tell you how long this pandemic will last. At this time, there's no clear picture on the overall impact that COVID-19 will have on the economy and on the global financial markets. It is very difficult to gauge or forecast, and it is for this reason that we believe we should expect market volatility to continue for the foreseeable future. The most important thing we can do in these challenging times is to stay vigilant and disciplined, and to carry out our long-term strategy. On behalf of our 2 million members, I will say what I like to always say: we will keep calm and carry on. With that, thank you, and I'm happy to take any questions.
Okay, thank you, Marcie and Ben. Now we will take questions from the board, and I'm going to call on you individually from our roll call list. so that we don't talk over one another. So with that, I'm going to call on Ms. Brown. Do you have any questions?
Not at this time, but I might, if you could come back to me. Thank you.
Okay. And no, we're probably going to limit it to 2 rounds. So, okay. Mr. Fechner?
Thank you. No questions this time. I just want to thank everyone for the update and for all the good work.
Mr. Rufino?
No questions from the Treasurer Ma, and same as Rob, thank you all for your extraordinary efforts during this time.
Ms. Middleton?
Thank you, Mr. President, and thank you, Marcie and Ben, and everyone on the teams for your work. Ben, are you in a position to give us a range of what you believe the rate of return for this fiscal year is likely to be?
Good morning, Ms. Middleton. The answer is no, we cannot give you a good estimate as of now for main 2 reasons. For the property market assets, as you have seen, that has been quite volatile. The valuation changes on daily basis with a large swing on both upside and downside. And then the other part of our portfolio, the private asset classes, their valuation tend to be delayed by a quarter to sometimes up to 2 quarters. So we won't have a clear visibility into our fiscal year return as of now.
Okay, I can appreciate that, but as we all know, and I know you know better than anyone, the 7% target is one of substantial financial consequence, not just simply to CalPERS, but to everyone who contracts with CalPERS. Thank you.
We understand. Yeah, thank you.
Okay. Mr. Miller?
No questions, just my thanks to everyone, and hang in there.
Ms. Oliveras?
Hi, good morning. Ben, I just wanted to ask if there were any new concerns about the need for additional liquidity.
Good morning. Very good question. So when we speak liquidity, there are 2 aspects to it that we pay very close attention to. One is the market trading liquidity, which we monitor very closely. And that market trading liquidity, there's not a lot of up to us to control. But what we could do, and we have done, to make sure that as long as there's a liquidity in the market, we have access to it. So that's what we spent a lot of time last year to get us better prepared. And we're very glad that we did all the preparation work last year. The other aspect of liquidity is really the balance sheet liquidity of our fund. And that we have more control over than the market liquidity. And as I reported a moment ago, we're in a very healthy place. And again, that benefited greatly from the work we did last year to centralize the liquidity management and to develop a comprehensive real-time liquidity management framework and a liquidity dashboard. And obviously, I'm very pleased to report to you that our balance sheet liquidity of the fund is very healthy, and also remains that way for the foreseeable future.
Thank you.
Ms. Mitchell?
Yes, I have no questions at this time, but Irene and I would like to express our appreciation for the update. Thank you.
Mr. Perez?
No questions. I just wanted to thank everybody for their diligent work and to remind the team that it's a marathon, so make sure they're taking some personal time as well.
Mr. Rubalcaba?
Thank you, Mr. President. Yes, first I want to thank the staff for bearing down during this period, and I appreciate the presentation. I think you correctly stated that we have to prepare for a downturn because given the systematic structure, there will be a downturn. We just don't know what triggers it or why. And so and you correctly stated that we're here for the long-term investor, but it's hard. I'm sure employers and participants react differently. They see the up and downs of the market, and they see their personal 401ks go down, and so there's a lot of. I'm sure you guys are getting a lot of calls from many employers and participants. So I was wonder. I mean, it's a good. That's what I'm saying, T.P. We're here for the long term, but and you laid out 3 points that we're doing to sustain ourselves, but is that enough? I guess I don't want to be alarmist, but I guess we can expect some fall in the funded ratio and some other things. So, are there any plans to help us strengthen for the short term, intermediate term, and the long term? Thank you.
Mr. Rubalcaba, this is Marcie. So obviously we've started to get some phone calls from our participating employers as well. And this week we are sending out some additional communication to the employers. We really so far have focused on the members, both on the pension side and the healthcare side. And of course, the stress is, what happens if when CalPERS doesn't hit the 7% return target. One of the tools that we gave to our employers was the Pension Outlook tool. And so that, we believe, was deployed at the right time. So employers can go in, make their own simulation about what they think the return might be as of June 30th, and then they would see the impact to their contribution rates. But I've had outreach from the legislature. I've had outreach from large communities of employers. And we're working on preparing content for a webinar for the employers, and we'll certainly keep you all informed of that as well.
Thank you.
You finished, Ramon?
Thank you, but I may come back with more questions, but at this point, yes, thank you.
Okay, Ms. Taylor?
Yes, I don't think I have any questions at the moment. I just wanted to also say that I really appreciate staff and the work you're all doing, Marcie and Ben, and all of our staff in these very unusual times. And I know it's been stressful, and please take care of yourself, and we appreciate the work you're doing.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Wesley?
Thank you. I don't have any questions right now except to echo what everyone else has said, which is thanking the staff, from the senior staff on the phone, admin, and then also the people who came in, the workers who came in to disinfect after that scare. Everyone seems to be putting themselves in the line of fire, no matter what type of job they have. So thank you for your dedication.
Okay. Ms. Pacrian?
Good morning. I also wanted to echo the thanks to everybody, Ben, Marcie. I know these are very difficult times and appreciate you keeping calm and carrying on. Also appreciate, Marcie, the outreach to the employers. I think that will be very important going forward, and also look forward to the April meeting with a more robust discussion. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Are there any final comments or questions from any board member at this time?
Yes, Mr. Jones. This is Margaret.
Yes. Okay, go ahead, Margaret.
Ben, can you tell me how our left tail investments are performing? Are they performing the way we thought they would in this economic downturn?
Good morning, Ms. Brown. Yes. For any left tail risk hedging strategy you're referring to, they should perform well in this kind of a down market. That's they were exactly designed to do. And from what we know, most of these strategies are performing as anticipated.
Perfect. That's it. Thank you.
Okay. Okay, so here are no further questions from the board. I'm going to check to see if there are any members of the public who may wish to speak on item 5. And Mr. Jacobs is in the auditorium. We'll coordinate that part if there are any members of the public that wish to speak. So, Mr. Jacobs, any person there wishing to speak to this issue?
Mr. Jones, good morning, and good morning, board members. There are no members of the public that wish to speak at this time.
Okay, thank you very much. Okay, we will move items 6, 7, and 8 to the April board meeting and move on to agenda item 9, proposed decisions for administrative law judges. But before I call on the Vice President, Ms. Taylor, for a motion, I'm going to call on Mr. Sherrod Shaw to, I understand he may have an update on one of the items. Mr. Shaw, are you there?
Yes, I'm here. Good morning, Mr. President, members of the board. Very quickly, just want to wish everyone the best during these trying times. And then on the substantive issue, want to quickly note that the board received a late submitted argument from the member at agenda item 983. I have reviewed that argument carefully, and it does not change my recommendation on the question of whether a member has established a disability under the Public Employees Retirement Law. That's all I have, Mr. President. I'm happy to answer any questions.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Shaw. Are there any questions from board members? Okay, hearing none, Ms. Taylor, would you please entertain a motion for these items?
Certainly, Mr. President. I move to adopt the proposed decision at agenda items 9A1 through 5 and 7 through 10 with minor modifications argued by staff to agenda item 9A5 and set aside the board's final decision in the appeals of Charles Syrian and remand the case back to the Office of Administrative Hearings in accordance with the Superior Court order found at agenda item 9A6, only on the specific issues specified therein.
I'll second that. This is David Miller.
Okay, it's been moved by Ms. Taylor and second by Mr. Miller. So we need a roll call vote on that. Ms. Hopper, can you please call the roll?
Sure. Margaret Brown.
Aye.
Rob Fechner.
Aye.
Frank Ruffino for Fianna.
Aye.
Lisa Middleton.
Aye.
David Miller.
Aye.
Stacey Oliveris.
Aye.
Michelle Mitchell for Irena Ortega.
Aye.
Jason Perez.
Aye.
Ramon Rubalcaba.
Yes, aye.
Teresa Taylor.
Yes.
Shonda Wesley.
Aye.
And Lynn Paquin for Betty Yee.
Aye.
Okay, thank you very much. We will move items 10A and 10B to the April board meeting and move now to agenda item 10C, which is public comments. Again, Mr. Jacobs, is there anyone in the auditorium that wish to make a public comment?
No, there is not.
Okay, thank you very much. So our next board meetings are scheduled for April 20 and 21. We have added investment committee and pension and health benefits committee meetings to address the items that were moved from this month to April. That concludes our meeting, and we will join this meeting, and I want to thank everyone for the flexibility during these trying times. So this meeting is adjourned. Thank you all.
Thank you.
Thank you.